screw power washing, screw mobile detailing. Like, this is the best side hustle to get into. If you deliver 6 bags to someone's basement, charge $5 per bag delivery fee, that's $30. And it literally probably takes you like 7 or 8 minutes. So if you do that times 50 in a day, you can make some serious money. No tech, nothing fancy.
If this business can consistently make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, teaching people how to do that, people would pay good money for. Especially now where like nobody's talking about this today. You're the only person I've ever seen ever talk about this business model.
We want to do $1 million in revenue this year. We haven't hit that before. We did 20K in November, 20K in December, and this month we're on track to, I think we'll do 40K this month. So listen to this part. This is nuggets for if you want to start a side hustle, do this.
I'd love to start off with why you started EZSalt and what, the cliff notes of the last 3 to 4 years for you have looked like.
That's the toughest thing, talking about the startup story, because I am coming up on year 6 of this. So it's not been a fast journey. It's not a short story, but there's some events that I can just kind of highlight. So it started in 2018. Like I mentioned earlier, I hated water softener salt as a teenager. I was always the one that had to do it. My dad would make me haul the bags from his truck through the house, down to the basement, over to the water softener, dump them in. And these are almost all water softener salt bags are big, heavy, 40-pound bags of salt. They're messy. You dump them in a tank and you've got like salt dust in the air that you're breathing in and you can taste it. It's just nasty. It's the worst thing ever. So I served an LDS mission. I served in Louisiana, and coming back from my mission, I started just thinking about business all the time. It's probably a little bit too distracted thinking about, when I come home, what should I do? And I was thinking about water softener salt all the time. I just thought back to how much I hated doing it. So yeah, right when I got home, I got to work sourcing salt. I would pick up, I found a neighbor who had a trailer, a neighbor of my parents who had a trailer, and take that to Costco, have them load up a pallet of salt on it, which they will do, by the way. And by the way, I encourage strongly, 6 years later, other people to start a salt delivery business. So listen to this part. This is nuggets for if you want to start a side hustle, do this. Load up a trailer with salt, and then we would roll through neighborhood streets. I got my brother, who was 15 at the time, and a couple of his friends. And sometimes I'd bring my friend in. It was just kind of a fun thing. We'd all get together. All the boys would get together, and we'd roll down the street with a pallet full of salt. And we'd knock doors, and we'd be like, hey, we've got water softener salt right now. We will carry it down to your tank. How many bags do you want? And we would sell through most days we'd sell through a whole pallet. Some days we'd have 5 or 6 bags left. It just got dark too fast. But
and what are you selling them for? What are you buying them for? What are you selling them for? What does this kind of side hustle look like?
Yeah, so back then salt was cheaper. It's gotten more expensive, but you can easily, if you're just charging a per bag fee, you can easily charge $4 or $5 per bag delivery fee. So if you deliver 6 bags to someone's basement, charge $5 per bag delivery fee, that's $30. And it literally probably takes you 7 or 8 minutes to get those bags into their basement, dump it in super fast. And so if you do that times, 50 in a day, and you just in everyone's house, you can make some serious money, several $100s in a day, just grinding. No tech, nothing fancy, just you and your hustle out there in the world, creating value for people. So I scaled the business a little bit. I mean, I ran that for a summer, and then I got a super boring insurance job. So I had to get really good at kind of managing my salt delivery business while having a full-time job, and it was just getting super inefficient. We would only do deliveries on Saturday, and I'd have someone, we deliver to Jane Smith on a street on a Saturday, right? And the next Saturday, someone on that same street needs salt. Or maybe they call me on a Tuesday, I need salt today. And we're like, we deliver on Saturdays. I've got a full-time job now. And she's like, all right, I'll just go to the store and get it myself. So it just got really inefficient where everyone's water usage is different. It even at the individual customer will fluctuate throughout the year. Jane Smith might use more bags in the summer because her kids are home from college than she does in the winter. Whatever, throughout the year, it even varies. So it's almost impossible to figure out a system without tech. So yeah, that's what led to, I first researched and looked online to see if there's some kind of a sensor out there where I could just see my customer salt levels remotely. And I figured there would be. I mean, you've researched, water softening is a huge market. I figured something would exist, but it didn't in 2018. 2019 probably was when I started really researching this stuff. So I saw, hey, there's an opportunity right there. Maybe this is even bigger than my little salt delivery business. What if I could bring this product to market? So it got way too ambitious.
And at the time, like help people who are listening to this understand, right? You're working on a insurance job, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, delivering salt, slinging salt on the weekends, right?
Right.
What were you doing at the time? Was it a couple $100 a weekend, making 10, 20 grand or something like that at the time? And you're like, I think this can be bigger.
Oh yeah, no, not anything huge. We probably had 150 customers at this point.
How are you getting them?
What's that?
How are you finding those customers? Just word of mouth?
Door to door.
Nice.
Yeah, those all came from the door to door. And that is the best way to find people every single day, consistently, without ever spending a dollar. Later, and since then, we've gotten pretty good at ads, but still, you got to spend at least $1,000 a month to have any significant traction. Like, if you don't have that budget yet, go grind, go build your customer base, and then when revenue can justify it, then. And
well,
yeah.
No, I agree. I was gonna say, like, I will say from my vantage point, right? Like, I work hard, but I'm lazy from the sense of like I want everything that I'm doing to have a huge output. And so I think like the hungry college student or post grad, knock on some doors, right? Beat the doors down until you get the pitch down, and then you can find another way to do it. I think even right now, something I'm seeing a lot of local service product businesses have a ton of success with is just local Facebook group marketing. I don't know about you, but the town that I grew up in has a Facebook group, 50,000 plus people in it. Even just like you can, like one of the nice things is you can pay people not the craziest amount of money to hang a ton of door hangers in a ton of different cities and towns. Like we own self-storage facilities, for example, and it cost us, I think, $3,000 to put out, I think it was like 1,500 door hangers or something like that. We got a couple good rentals out of it. Like there's ways to probably spin up your first couple, dozen, 50, 100 customers without having to be pounding doors in the freezing cold snow if you're up in Jersey or New York or wherever you are.
Very true. Facebook groups is a great call out. That was how I continued to market once I was full time. I would post. We had a local group, just like you said. It's called Harriman Happenings, and I'd post in there once in a while. And I remember the post one day blew up. I posted a picture of salt at Home Depot, and then it was like $8 a bag. And I was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Like, we'll deliver for $7.50 a bag." My margins were terrible, but it was like, yeah, we could get salt delivered to our tank for less than the price of Home Depot, even though Costco was like $4 a bag. But I used the most expensive option in the area to.
I love that.
And we got like 50 orders. It actually kind of blew up a little bit. It was sick. I remember me and my brother sitting in our room, and we just like, boom, order. They're just coming in. We're like, hey, like, let's freaking go. We're not knocking doors right now. They're just coming in.
It's pretty funny. You're 6 years into the business, and I think you would probably agree with me on this, that like the first revenue is always the sweetest. Like you guys are I gotta imagine doing exponentially more in sales than y'all were doing back then. However, like in the bedroom, you and your brothers getting sales, like that's got to be a really good feeling.
Oh yeah, you'll never forget that. That's like there's few things that are a cooler feeling than knowing that your idea is now turning into dollars. Just like you made that connection, that you had an idea and now there are dollars coming to you because you've created value. So, I mean, that's my high. That's that high I get is whenever like I know something I put in the world is creating value and I'm making money because of it. It's so exciting.
People talk about the term being unemployable, right? And like, what does that mean? And like, to me, it is what you just described there of like the second that you realize that you can make money without having somebody give you money from a W-2. That's the kind of like aha moment that goes off in people's brain often.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. So you realize that the issue suddenly became you could run these routes, you could build out salt routes. However, it's not like it's a pool cleaning route where you can put somebody on a once a month schedule or something like that. And the occasional extra stop, like Miss Smith is going to be every 3 weeks except for in the winter when it changes up. Versus, John Doe is on a completely different schedule. So you're like, I need a tech solution for this.
That's right. That's right. We were hoping it would just be time based, like we just put someone on like a, hey, every 2 months we're going to come with and fill you up, but it's never consistent. Water usage varies, and when someone runs out of salt, it's suddenly a big deal. But like it takes months in the meantime. So even if we have like a 2 weeks heads up, which is what our sensor now does, it changes the game. Now we can build efficient routes. Now we know that like we could even say, hey, we're gonna be in Miss Smith's neighborhood. We just delivered like 3 weeks ago to her neighbor, and she only needs 2 bags, but let's just top her off while we're there. Like let's make the most money per gallon of gas and mile that we have to run our trucks as possible. So yeah, that was quickly the vision I had. I suddenly was like, holy cow, this could be so big and so much more scalable if I had a sensor that would measure salt levels and I could monitor it for people. Now I'm thinking, wow, now I could do like a subscription with that. Customers would be so happy. And that's exactly what took 5 years after that, which is just, I remember at the time I was like, dude, this is gonna take like 6 months. Like, I'll get a friend of mine who's smart. We'll put a little prototype out. And I think our very first prototype probably did take about 6 months to get out. I was right about that. But is your very first piece of crap prototype the thing you're going to sell millions of? No, no, it's not scalable. It's so hard. I had to bring a laptop into people's basements to like do technical. Like I think I had to do a little bit of like code to like connect it to their Wi-Fi. Just absolutely ridiculous. So
that's awesome though. Well, I mean, as far as where you guys are at today, then, right? So, when I was trying to do the research, tell me if I totally whiffed here. Do you guys have 3 lines of business right now, or is it two? And like, because what I've looked up, it looks like you sell the sensor, there's the hardware, and there's the tech. You have your own routes right now. It sounds like maybe yes or no.
yep, we still take care of those Harriman customers. That's like the only EZSalt to consumer salt delivery service is just a couple customers in Harriman back from those OG days. Yep.
And so then the last one that I thought, but I wasn't positive about. Do you guys now supply the salt?
Do we what?
Do you supply the salt?
Not yet. No. That's part
But
of my evil plan someday.
Is that a plan?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a salt mine. We're gonna have me and my co-founder always joke like it's your turn to have a shift in the mines and go get your pickaxe and get it down in the salt mines. But yes, that is. I think there will be a lot of big business development steps in the meantime, partnering with big brands like Morton and or Cargill, the
Yeah.
big salt manufacturers to get deep discounted pricing for our dealers. But someday, oh yeah, we're gonna make it so that you don't even. It makes no sense to go buy salt at Costco because you can get it delivered for cheaper from
Well,
one of our dealers. That's the big master plan.
I mean, I think that's the smartest path. And honestly, I feel like if I were you, I would be doing this thing tomorrow. And I understand there's probably so many supply chain headaches that are associated with that. But the way that we got connected was a post that you made on LinkedIn, I think about a week or two ago. And I'll just read it out for people who are listening on the podcast versus consuming this on YouTube. But it says, there's a guy in Houston killing it with salt delivery, making over $12,000 a month. He offers a white glove service experience where he installs an EZSalt sensor, monitors it, delivers salt when the salt gets low, and even replaces reverse osmosis filters once a year. He charges a flat monthly fee for guaranteed soft and pure water, $40 per month, which is all inclusive salt bags too. Over 300 subscribers, generating $12K per month recurring revenue, and his customers love the service. Bet there are over 300 people in your area that would pay you the same. What are you waiting for? This is awesome. Like this feels to me like the side hustle that nobody's talking about right now.
Yeah, yeah, amen. Yeah, that's what I want to inspire more people to do because it is the side hustle that no one's talking about. And I think prior to our tech platform, everyone would build a tiny little insignificant business like I did, and then it would get really inefficient, and then you move on from it. It just without the monitoring and the insight and delivering that customer experience where you can literally sell to Miss Smith, hey, we're just going to watch your salt for you. When it gets low, we'll schedule a delivery day with you, and we'll come and put it in your tank. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's special. So yeah, I wanted to share the example of this guy in Houston, and who's killing it. He's got 300 customers. Now he goes after more wealthy people, right?
Sure.
not everyone in your community is going to pay $40 a month just to like say goodbye to salt, but the right number of people will. And so find them. Some of the ideas Connor shared, Facebook groups, door hangers, knocking doors. That's how you find them. And yeah,
So
I love entrepreneurship. I love side hustles. This started as a side hustle until we just like went all in for 5 years. And so yeah, I want to encourage more people to do what that guy did.
so when I'm hearing you talk about your business, because I'm shocked that you're not supplying the salt too, because to me you have a handful of businesses on your plate right now that you can really launch and I think make a ton of money. I'm sure you guys are crushing it right now, but like right now you look at your business as a hardware and tech business. Is that right?
Right. That's what we want to stay focused in. Yep.
So long-term expansion opportunities. I mean, I think that the side hustle thing is super interesting. I don't know if you're as into some of the info spaces I have personally seen on X, Twitter, whatever people are calling it these days. But like, there's a huge opportunity, I think, from a franchise-esque play here, where if this business can consistently make 100, 200, $300,000 a year, it depends on the scalability of it. But teaching people how to do that, people would pay good money for, especially now where like nobody's talking about this today. You're the only person I've ever seen ever talk about this
Yeah.
business model. So you can be the big player there. And then on top of that is when you teach people, you say, okay, you know something, you're running local Google ads. Here's how you get your first 100 customers. Here's where here's how you fulfill your truck routes, etc. And people feel confident in that. Then it's great. You're going to use our hardware and our tech, and we'll make sure that we supply that to you. And then on top of that too, we'll get you cheaper rates on salt than you can get, because now we have, if you want to call them franchisees, whatever you want to call them, like 100, 200, 500 people throughout the country that are all buying from you. Now you have huge volume discounts. And then you probably are beating the Costco volume of salt, right? Like Costco, I'm sure, sells a ton of salt, but like if you can supply your guys with salt for $3, $2, whatever that looks like I think that could take it to even the next level.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. It's just a volume thing to get these big companies, because I've done the business development, I've done the calls to talk to these guys and be like, hey, what's going to take? And pretty much always the big guys with salt aren't even going to talk to you unless you're buying a truckload at a time. So we just that's part of what we're building right now, and why I want to encourage more side hustlers to get after this. Is like if I can have 10 people in an area, all of them selling about 2 pallets a month, then hell yeah, now I can get a truckload in kind of a centralized location between all of them. Find a creative way to do it. There's like one place that I like. I think it's called Neighborly or something. It's like where
I've heard of that.
They can like rent a side of their driveway out for someone to use. And I'm like, dude, how sick would it be to just drop off pallets of salt there, and then like distributors can go and pick it up for cheap. So anyway, how we scale that out will be an operational headache, but I think it will be worth it once the volume is there. So that's the only reason we haven't. It's going to be one of those things that as soon as we can, as soon as there's volume in the markets to do it, we will. Because I think absolutely it'll be a win. It'll give people more. It'll give us more, I guess, more reason for people to work with us besides just our tech platform. Is through our distribution network, you can get discounted salt. But until then, still plenty. Like I tell people, I do so many demos a week. So many people want to learn how to start a salt business, and it's just filled up my calendar now, which is great. We are making a really good course right now, literally like a step-by-step, and I think it'll be free. I care more about that people can just take it and get after it, but we might have a little $25 fee just to have someone like show that they at least $25 committed to putting some work into it. But it'll take you literally from like, okay, I know nothing, all the way to like you're getting your first paying customer and you know where to get salt and you're hooked up with our tech and equipment, and you have this super sick business that now you can really get after and grow it.
Well, I'd honestly love to use even just this conversation as a launching pad, depending on when you guys come out with that course, as far as like giving people some insight into what you would tell somebody on a coaching call or a course like that. Like everything from market selection, getting your first couple customers, how to service, like give people listening to this today a breakdown on why being a starting a salt delivery business would be the side hustle to start in 2025.
Sure. Yeah, I can throw a few stepping stones at you. So first thing is research. Is there a need for water softener salt in your area? Are there water softeners in your area? Figure this out first. Very easy ways to do this. First thing, Google water hardness report and then your city name. So water hardness, St. George, Utah, water hardness, Houston, Texas. And there's just public reports that come out every couple of years about the city's water hardness, and it'll tell you how hard it is. If it is above 5 to 7 grains per gallon, there are for sure water softeners. In fact, I bet most people in the area who have a single family home have a water softener. So that's a green flag right there. How hard is the water? Look for over 5 to 7 grains per gallon. Next, how many people have a water softener? Okay, so you verified if it's like 10 grains per gallon, maybe there's a good amount that have it, but maybe not everybody. That could be an opportunity itself to like actually build, like sell leads to water softener companies if you go door to door with it, but we can talk about that later. Quick thing, call water treatment company, search water softener near me on Google, and a bunch of companies are going to pop up, maybe even a Culligan. There's almost always a Culligan somewhere. Call them up and be like, hey, question about the water here. Like, how many people have water softeners? And even you could even disclose to them, like, I'm thinking of starting a salt delivery business. If I did that, do you have customers that need this service we could partner up on, and I can help you deliver? Because here's the thing about water softener companies. They do have tons of customers who want salt delivery, and they hate doing salt delivery. They're running plumbers and big trucks on big gas usage and insurance policies. It costs them like $500 pretty much to get a plumber into someone's house. And when they're delivering like 8 bags of salt to make $100, they're losing so much money. And so they hate having to do salt delivery. They do it as charity work for the old ladies who call and ask for it. And so that's always like a first step I recommend. Like, part of your research should be calling every water treatment company in your area and being like, hey, do you want me to help you do your salt delivery? I'm thinking of doing it. And I would be willing to bet if you talk to someone, not just like a receptionist, but talk to like the owner of the business, I'd be willing to bet they'd be willing to sit down and talk about it with you because they hate it so much. And that could open up thousands of customers to you and give you a fast start. From there, you're starting a business, right? So come up with a name. A great place I like to point people to is namecheap.com or GoDaddy. Start searching names you're coming up with. Make it kind of SEO friendly, like the name of your town, Salt, right? Yeah. So that when someone Googles like water softener salt Harriman, there's a company called Harriman Salt Delivery, for example. Like, little play on the SEO there. There's an advantage, definitely, just like for the organic search traffic.
Dumb question on my side, but like as you describe all this, first of all, I love the market research side and like the people to call. I feel like that's super key, and knowing that this to somebody else is the business that they don't want, but there's enough demand that they do it anyway. One thing that kind of jumps off the page to me is that this is definitely a business where high volume, a lot of potential customers in your area. And what's nice is like I go back to like HVAC businesses where like this is something that it's reoccurring, people want, and you can service, and like that subscription revenue is really nice. The downside of this one compared to something like an HVAC business is lower dollars, right? Yeah, I think you mentioned, the guy in Houston was serving richer people and he was doing $40 a month or something like that per customer.
Yeah.
I think the next iteration on this is like, how do you turn 40 to 400, 40 to 100? So that way you can work with the same customer set and treat this a little bit like this is going to get my foot in the door type of business. And now I can make additional revenue. And like the dumb question that I was going to ask, I think to start, and it might be an easy yes, but like up here in New England, I know obviously you're in Utah, right?
Yeah.
So it snows, people salt their driveway. Same salt, different salt?
Different salt.
Okay.
I think water softener salt can do it, but often driveway salt is actually not salt. It's like a chemical. I've learned. But yes, pool salt, ice melt salt, water softener salt, all heavy bags, all pain in the ass to get from the store. There's a company in Idaho who kills it cross-selling different kinds of salt, and it's kind of like we're
What's
just
that
your
company?
salt distributors.
Cool.
They do more commercial delivery than residential, but yeah, they carry all the kinds of salt.
I mean,
And
it's
yeah,
smart.
yeah. And then there's lots of cross sells. I mean, you're basically, I would see this as like you're breaking into a home service business. So definitely consider like how complex do you want your operations to become. Nice thing about salt is you can scale to thousands of dollars in revenue with one product. 40-pound bags
Yeah.
of water softener pellets is what I'd
Yeah.
recommend. Is usually what people prefer. Some people might prefer solar salt or like the crystals. Worst case scenario, you have two SKUs. And think of how simple it is
That's
to
nice.
coordinate even a high school kid in your area. Hey, go get 18 bags from Costco. And then we have like salt delivery routing software that will automate this whole side of it, where he'll just be able to follow a route, go home to home, uploads pictures of the salt, gets everyone done. He doesn't have to think about it. Anyway, so one nice thing about salt business is the operation's simple. But I've got guys who are doing like air filters, like your HVAC filters, batteries, light bulbs, batteries in the smoke detectors. So there's certainly a potential that maybe you hit 300 customers and you don't necessarily want to keep pounding pavement getting new customers, but now how do we maximize that RMR, that recurring monthly revenue for my 300 customers, like you said, and maybe we could get this to 60 a month and 80 a month and do more. And I'll tell you what, the best way to figure stuff out like that is not just you like thinking about it in your bedroom and just thinking that you're so smart. Go talk to your freaking customers. This is something that entrepreneurs forget to do. Talk to the people who would be paying for you. Ask them what other pains they have. They might tell you something you never even would have thought of, but you're like, oh, yeah, I could do that. Maybe it's power washing. Maybe, I don't know. Like, talk to customers when you want to know like cross-sell, pricing. Pretty much every step I've taken my entire business, I always am validating with customers. And when we do that, it's like when we bring this product that is very customer driven to someone new, they're like, holy crap, this is amazing. How'd you read my mind? These are all the things I want. It's like, because we did, we talked to customers like you. So anyway, just a little business nugget there. Talk to your freaking customers and stop sitting in your office, thinking you're the smartest person ever. Like, get out there and talk to your customers, and they will give you the most brilliant insights that you never would have expected.
That's smart. I also think that the people who would want a service like this are going to want some form of clean home, clean air, clean water, whatever. So I feel like whether you're niching down in the salt side and you're also serving tablets for pools, salt for driveways, whatever, I think that's an option. Or just all things filtration and cleaning. So cleaning out the water filters, being able to clean the air ducts, things like that. Definitely things that customers, I would imagine, would be interested in.
Yeah. You're in the home. What else can you do? Talk to customers about that. I think those are all great ideas. Yeah.
So I feel like the side hustle part, I love that. I think it can be big. I also think that sharing the story of the guy in Houston, I feel like you could probably build a 300, 500, 600,000 minimum business from something like this if you're dedicated, motivated to get serious with it. Talk to me more about your business as it stands today. So the sensor itself, is that a good business? Like, do you like that business? I think the people listening to this are more on the entrepreneurial front. And so understanding like, hey, is your plan here to sell 1 million sensors and you sell them for, I don't know how much you sell them for, $100, something like that? Like what's the niche there?
Yeah, the sensor, extremely difficult to bring that thing to market. That was so much, because my goal was anybody could buy our sensor, set it up themselves, no professional install needed, kind of thinking of it like an Alexa or a Ring camera, that you get it out of the box and like there's good enough instruction that anyone can set it up. That's freaking difficult. and then it's difficult more that a sensor in a salty environment can last a long time, right? We even had more challenge with the sensors go in the brine tank. So there's salt dust and sometimes there's some humidity in there. And many states in the country, the the brine tank is outdoors, like Houston and Florida, and so it's like getting beat by the sun and it's humid. So anyway, we had to make a product super resilient, but then also super easy to set up, super accurate. I mean, so freaking challenging, and so many major setbacks and challenges that we had to come overcome. But yes, now the sensor itself as a business could, yeah, become like a super big multi-million-dollar product. I think it could be, and I my plan is to get it into every brine tank in the country, because it's just silly that like we're in 2025 and the way people check salt is they have to go down and open the lid and look. It's just silly, I think. So
Yep.
get one of our sensors in there. It'll alert you on your phone at a minimum, even if there's not salt delivery connected to it. Just as a standalone product, it's pretty great. It'll alert you. There's an app you can look at, and it'll tell you the exact
That's cool.
percentage of salt that you have. It'll tell you that you have 46% of salt. So yeah, we sell that on Amazon. We have a Shopify store. It's, yeah, somewhere between $80 and $100, depending if we're doing like a sale. Or we're trying to keep the retail around $80 or $90. We'll bump it up to 100 if we're like running low on stock, and we'll jump it up and then still end up selling out.
Do you guys have good margins on a product like that?
Yeah, I'll break it down. Man, I wish I could spend 6 hours one day just breaking down like literally what it takes to bring a product to market. But today, my landed cost is about $18 for the hardware of the sensor. That actually sucks. That's actually really high. But
is it? You have 80%. Sorry, is that including assembly?
It sucks in terms of what other IoT companies are producing their sensors for at huge scale. So like, I think eventually we're going to get our price down around $10, maybe below that, as we get in scale. That's why I say it sucks. It sucks compared to what it could be. But yeah, our margins are good. It's $18 landed. That's like in my home office, because we don't have a warehouse. I literally get product into my office and then ship out of my home, because we're just bootstrapped and we're lean like that. And we're growing, but $18 landed. And then we retail for about $80. Now, most of our revenue comes from wholesale. So we sell so many more sensors to like water softener companies, who I spent a year cold calling and building a little sales team to break down the walls and get into every single water softener company that we possibly could, which has led to us getting into some awesome distribution partnerships with big water softener distributors like Nelson Corporation and Wood Brothers, and some of these big companies who are like up very high in the chain of where all of water softeners come from. It passes through one of these companies. And so, most of our volume sensors wise comes from wholesale water softener companies. And we wholesale for $52 a piece.
Cool.
So it gives our partners, a better price. We still have some decent margin in there. And then like if you're buying, there's a whole volume discount. So like if you buy 100 at a time, it's $45 a piece. And if you buy 250 at a time, it's $40 a piece. And that's our deepest discount, is you buy 240, which is basically $10,000 order at $40 a piece. And you'll get the deepest price.
How long do these things last for? Like, I mean, from your standpoint, as you were talking there, I have a Google search now that says how many brine tanks are there in the US, and not much is known about that. But I'm trying to like think, how big can this business be at scale?
There's about 20 million water softeners in the US. Pretty nice. Pretty close number there. That's from a lot of sources in the industry and macro data research. About 20 million water softeners in the US, but we also have European distribution now, and there's probably another 5 million water softeners there. There's tons of softeners all over Eastern Europe, Russia, India, China. It's pretty much anywhere in the world where water comes out of the ground, there is hard water. Now you got to consider like the income threshold of different countries, and like hard water is not going to kill you. It's actually perfectly fine if you like drink hard water. It's not poisonous or anything. It's just kind of, it damages your appliances, it irritates your skin, it makes your clothes like not clean as well, and your detergents and stuff. It just kind of slows down things and like has a very long-term negative benefit. So anyway, just in a worldwide picture, there's countries that have hard water, but they don't have softeners because it's like people are trying to
So
get food, not soft water.
yeah, no, it's definitely a luxury good for sure.
Yeah.
When you're selling these things, is there a world where you have to replace them every couple of years, or because you built them and you're on the Model 3, they last for a decently long time?
Yeah, so that's what was tough with the Model 3. It took us, we launched our Model 2 in May of 2021. Um, and we planned to launch the Model 3 like a few months after that. But it cost, it usually costs like $100,000 plus for custom tooling. I had to get really resourceful, really scrappy, and find a special deal. I was able to get it done for a little under $50,000. That's a lot of money for a bootstrap company. So it took us years to get to the point where we could swing that tooling cost. And the reason we had to do custom tooling is for IP65 enclosure, which makes it dust and water resistant to the point of like you can spray it with a hose and it'll be okay, and it can be in a super dusty environment and be okay. It's basically like the threshold that IP65. It's pretty similar to an iPhone, maybe like one of the earlier iPhones that before they were like really waterproof. But yeah, so our sensor's IP65 rated. We put a 3-year warranty on it.
Nice.
That number might increase. That's just kind of a number we felt confident in for now, but we launched these in September. So we don't know if these will last for 3 years yet, but we will guarantee them for 3 years. I think the last 5 years plus, like they are airtight. Dust can't get inside.
That's great.
So they should be able to go for super long. Probably the only maintenance you have to do is it uses a laser to measure the distance, like measure how much salt is in the tank. And there's a little bit of glass in front of the laser. So wipe off salt dust on that once in a while, probably whenever you feel salt. We've actually never seen a problem from salt dust inhibiting the laser, but I always recommend it just because it makes sense that keep that clean so the laser can shine through, and it should be that's like the only maintenance that you might ever have to do on it. There's no batteries. People don't want to recharge them or replace them. We've asked customers. Again, I'm all about asking customers. We ask customers, do you want battery or do you want to plug in? And they said plug in. They just want to set it up one time and forget it. This is usually in a basement mechanical room that's like kind of tough to get to usually in most homes. So plug it in, and it's just going to measure your salt forever. And you can set low salt alert thresholds. If you want that at 50%, you can. If you want it at 20%, you can. You just set it at whatever level of salt you want it to get down to, and then it notifies you. You can customize that. And as a business, monitoring your customers' sensors, you can also customize what level you get notified at.
That's cool.
On behalf of them.
Oh, that's smart. So to wrap things up here, I mean, one of the things that I love best about this form of both podcast, channel, etc., is that it kind of creates a little digital archive. You can look back on this in the future and say, hey, that's where I was back in 2025. Here's where I am now. And it kind of creates that timestamp. What goals do you hit? It's January 7th today. What kind of goals do you have that you're trying to hit this year? What do you think you guys can do long term? Is the goal build this thing into $100 million business and sell it off, or what are you thinking here?
Yeah. Love the evil plan talk.
Yeah.
We want to do $1 million in revenue this year. We haven't hit that before. We did, I'll break down some numbers for you because it's good to know about. We did 20K in November, 20K in December, and this month we're on track to, I think we'll do 40K this month, and we're just going to keep scaling that. So we're bootstrapped. I have 21 boxes of sensors in my office. I don't know, no one can see this, but I'll turn my camera around. This is literally my office.
Oh, yeah.
Full of sensors right now. So we're just running it lean. We want to hit $1 million this year. I think we will. We have really strong distribution, and this side hustle idea is just taken off. I want this to be the next side hustle. Screw power washing, screw mobile detailing. Like, this is the best side hustle to get into. So yeah, we're just gonna be in growth mode this year. Eventually, we're gonna get our sensor into every brine tank in the country, salt delivery in every major market. And that 20 million water softeners is a number I think about a lot. We want to get a lot of those. There's no reason. We have no competitors. There's no reason we shouldn't get all of them eventually. Maybe 5 years from now, our sensor's only going to cost $35 to the end user. You know,
Yeah.
I want to drive that cost down and down. That is our foot in the door. Our business model is not to sell sensors. It's the subscription revenue. It's creating value around salt delivery. And when it all boils down, we try to make about $5 per month per sensor. in our like maximum value packages that we're building
So,
right now for our side hustle guys.
I didn't
But
even
yeah,
know this. Sorry, I should have asked this in the beginning. So you guys sell these things for 80 to $100 roughly, but you'll also charge a subscription revenue to the end customer to monitor it.
yeah, there is a
Oh, that's
optional
awesome.
upgrade for the end user for $5 a month where it creates SMS ordering, salt usage history, lifetime warranty on the sensor, just like a mountain of value you get if you do that little $5 a month, which is an amount most people I think will just forget about. They'll subscribe and be like, this is sick. Like, I'm
Yeah.
never going to think about this little bill again.
Yeah.
So yeah, our evil plan here is to create so much value around that $5 a month fee and get that from every sensor eventually. And that takes a lot of customer alignment, and a lot of work is going to go into that. We have plenty who do it already. We have a kind of pro upgrade for customers, and that's the magic thing. When salt delivery is available in an area, it's really easy to get that $5 a month. So that's why we want to build nationwide salt delivery availability, because we're going to make our dealers a ton of money. They're going to build huge businesses, and we're going to make about $5 per sensor. So yeah, let's say we can get half of the water softeners in the US. Hugely ambitious. I'm going to do it because I'm crazy. So we get 10 million people paying us $5 a month. Hell yeah, we're doing 50 million a month, and we'll have a freaking empire just from that. And those are the areas where, yeah, we have a salt mine. We're distributing salt to our dealers, and we just like changed the salt game forever. So that is what we're trying to do now.
That is the evil master plan.
That is my evil master plan. It's very evil. And,
well, I love the good.
I was just gonna say exit strategy on it. Either a huge company like Pentair Colligan is gonna have to finally just be like, all right, we'll buy you out. Like this is getting out of hand. Maybe Amazon. I don't know. There's some big IoT plays that we're doing here. I think definitely someone. It'll either will be bought out, or maybe someday we'll get into water softeners ourselves, because we're going to have 10 million users, right? And we're going to know how much salt they're using. And we're going to know if Jane Smith's water softener is less efficient, 20% less efficient than 50,000 people in her community. That's insights where we can sell a water softener. Her and softeners are like 3,000 or 4,000. So yeah, I don't know. It could be an IPO play too, if we get big enough, but we'll see. If somewhere along the rocket ship journey we get a big enough offer to sell, make me an offer I can't refuse, and maybe that'll happen. But in the meantime, that's my goal. The 20 million water softeners in the US is what I think about every day and what I want to conquer.
That is killer. I love that. I think a great model to look at this is take the most boring freaking thing on planet Earth, salt and water, and let's slap some tech on it. And now we've got a big business model. So I love the way you're approaching it. I've got a couple of ideas that I want to share just in general as you kind of build this out regarding like the side hustle coaching program and training. But in the meantime, Michael, you've been great. If people want to check you out, people want to learn more about the side hustle opportunity, where can they find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn, great spot. My name is Michael Jensen, EZSalt. I'm super accessible there. I'm very responsive in my messages, and if you send me a connection invite and you're not trying to sell me something, I will love to talk to you. I get sick of people trying to sell me stuff. It's like, dude, I'm just building right now. Like, when I have $1 million company, come and talk to me. Maybe you sell me something. But yeah, then our website, EZSalt.com, going to be a great place to kind of learn about our products. We will eventually have, if you want to find the university on EZSalt.com, which we have a course right now. It's kind of basic, but there is one already that we're trying to make better. Go to the dealer section of the website, scroll all the way to the bottom. There's a little EZSalt University button. Click into that, and you can start learning all about starting your own salt business. And anyone who subscribes to that, you're going to get email updates as we add new content. We also have a Discord. It's also linked everywhere on the website. So if you want to, when you start building, we want to kind of create a community where all of our side hustlers are sharing ideas and sharing wins, and we can kind of say like, hey, this dude in Park City, look at this thing he's doing, he's killing it. Like everybody else, try it out, and just kind of get better and leaner and smarter collectively as a community is what I want to do there.
I love it. Thanks for coming on to the show, Michael.
Okay, thanks, Connor.